Okay, so this is my second time voicing this over. The first time, for some reason, none of the audio recorded, and it makes no sense. So this is my second time doing this. If you hear the chair squeak, I swear it's just the chair squeaking. I have a squeaky chair; it drives me nuts too. But yeah, let's get into this. So to start with, I was born in a small town in Oregon called Clackamas. I have no idea why it's called Clackamas. I always thought the name was kind of funny. I remember nothing of the town at all. Um, Afterwards, we moved to Washington. We lived there for a while. That's where my sister was born. And shortly after, my dad was offered a job in the San Diego airport. So they packed up and hauled the coop to California. While we were there, we spent a while living with my grandparents while my parents were house hunting. Eventually, they settled for a house in Temecula, and we grew up here. In Temecula, it wasn't long after we moved here. I remember sitting in the van when I think I was like 5 years old. And I remember watching my dad drive off the lot in his new car. Since we lived in Temecula and he worked in San Diego, he had a commute to make. So he bought a 2004 Toyota Corolla. And this is an important detail for later. So keep that in mind. So afterwards, we went to elementary school. It was just like around the corner. The elementary school, and kindergarten and elementary school is just right around the corner from where we lived. And I made some really good family friends there. We met in fact, all of my teachers there turned out to be like family friends of ours, and they're just really good people. And a lot of the students I went there with, I still know them really well, and it was a good time. Halfway through fifth grade, that was when my grandpa died in February of 2010. I remember coming home and getting the news, and literally within 12 hours, we were on a plane headed out to Illinois. And to this day, it's probably one of the saddest moments of my life. But it was my first time ever experiencing like death, and it hit hard and it really sucked. But it's something everybody has to go through. So, but I mean, like, let me tell you, everybody showed up to his funeral. I mean, everybody and their dog was at that church. So it was really cool to be there and see that everybody knew my grandpa like that, and it was cool. It wasn't cool in the sense that there was a funeral, but it was cool in the sense that like everybody loved him so much. After that, life went on. I went to middle school. Life was pretty much a big 180 there. I made the sixth grade basketball team, and I made some friends for life on that team. Like some of the people I met on that team, I'm still like two peas in a pod with right now. They're really good people. I got into competitive basketball with them. To be completely honest, it kicked my arse and dedicated. I dedicated pretty much all my free time to it, like weekend tournaments, getting to the court at 6 a.m. before school started in middle school. And we spent so much time working. It was literally blood, sweat, and tears from all of us for years because, like, we would work so hard. And, we won games. Like, we did really good. And so that's, like, that area in my life is always a highlight, I think. But, and then comes the bad part. What goes up must come down. Before the 8th grade season in middle school, I crippled myself. Now, I know this is a terrible drawing of a broken ankle, but I'm not a Picasso, so don't judge. I broke my ankle, and I kind of fell behind. Like, and I mean mentally, not physically, because when you break yourself like that and you're out for so long and watching everybody else work, and you can't really do anything, it kind of puts you in that state of mind, like there's Lucifer in the back of your head, just telling you that you can't do anything about it, and it's really frustrating. So, after that was all said and done, after I was up and walking again, freshman year came around in high school, and the whole team went to Vista Murrieta. And long story short, like, I really hated it there. Like, the whole school was a prison. Everybody was like, it seems like everybody was just really cocky and really arrogant. And me being a more modest person, that's not my style of play at all. I really just hated it. I struggled there. I didn't like it. So, basketball went downhill, and I think that's partly due to the fact that I was still in that mental mind state of come back from that broken ankle, come back, and I was never I don't think I ever really gave myself a chance to be confident. So yeah, basketball went downhill. The system there was set up so that you had to be a brown noser to the coach to really get anything or do anything, and it was really frustrating because like the people on the team were really cool. Some of them were, And then there was just this one person like I couldn't stand. Like he gave me such a hard time, and I was always just too nice to. It's a long story, but it wasn't a good time. So eventually, I followed one of my best friends to Chaparral, and I figured I would try the basketball there. But I played for just a year before I burned out. Like after a year, I just decided, like, you know what, I'm not doing this. And basically, what happened was the coach at CHS made me hate playing so much that like it just kind of hit me. Like I need to do this, and I should have done this a long time ago, but I just quit. It was no fun. I hated going to practices, and if you ever think that, if you've ever thought that somebody's out to get you, like you haven't met this coach. Like this coach is like the ultimate. No, I can't say that word. Okay, eventually, after I quit, I got a job. I focused on getting my license. I bought my car, and before that, I had inherited my dad's car, that old 2004 Corolla from way back when. 11 years and 400,000 miles later, that car had become mine. But I got a job, saved up a little bit of money, bought my own car, and the thing is that none of these things would have happened if I was struggling to finish all my homework between trying to cram sleep and practicing at 2 a.m. in the morning. And I'm not even kidding. Like, this coach actually held practices at 2 a.m. in the morning on days that he knew he wouldn't be able to get practice. It was ridiculous. But recently, the football coach here at CHS let me film all the practices and games. And in doing that, and basically the whole point was to try to make hype videos for the football team, I guess. Because like I needed something to do. I needed something to edit. And I knew I wanted to get better at this and handling the camera and editing the footage. And then so he let me film their practices and their games. And that basically inspired me to learn my editing systems like inside out. Like every little control, every little corner, every little nook and cranny in these programs I had down. And there's like nothing that I cannot make with my special effects program. Like look at this clip here. This clip is from the final football highlight tape I made for the football team. And like I know it has nothing to do with football, but I was experimenting and I was learning with the program. And that the little earth thing, that took 14 hours to make. From the time I opened up the program to the time that the video was done saving, a total of 14 hours had passed, and that's partly due to a slow computer I had at the time. But like, look at that though. Like, isn't that awesome? Like, I don't know. I was really proud of that. And so the video editor gets more and more complex every time I use it. It's because you learn so much, you know. And when you really get into it, there's really nothing you can't do with it. But recently, I had saved up some more of my money and bought my own camera, lenses, and all kinds of equipment. Now, this camera's a beast, man. This camera's like, for a mid-price camera, it's actually really good. And I'm really glad I have it. And it's done me well so far. But as of now, I'm lined up to go to Orange Coast College in Costa Mesa. It's about an hour and a half from here, depending on traffic. And get the GEs out of the way for cheap and participate in the film program there. And after 2 years, I'm off to Chapman University. Chapman University, as of 2015, was the 8th best film school like in the entire nation. And it's kind of like when I discovered Chapman, I was like, hey, I want to go to that school. And if any of you have seen Stranger Things, you'd probably recall that after having seen their name in the credits so many times, that Stranger Things was created and directed by the Duffer Brothers. And the Duffer Brothers went to Chapman University. So when I saw that, I was like, hey, I am definitely going to Chapman. And then so going to Orange Coast first kind of works out because they're like 15 minutes away from each other. And the students in each one of their film programs like work together on everything. So it's working out. So everything kind of just like fell into place, you know? And now I've caught up and I'm just sitting here drawing this.